Hello, my name is Anastasia, and I'm the owner and founder of VegShe. For today's class, we are going to be moving through a series of stretches, and these are meant to be done either after an intense workout or even once a week, maybe on your rest day. Just a couple things to note for class today. You're probably going to want to have some water nearby and a mat. And if you feel like you need extra cushion, maybe for your knees or your back, you might want to have a blanket or a towel nearby as well. For today's class, we are going to hold each of these stretches for a minimum of 30 seconds. A lot of people don't know this, but if you don't hold for at least 30 seconds, you're not really doing a whole lot of good. 30 seconds may feel like a long time, but if you can, just try and relax and breathe into the stretches, and it'll go by faster than you think. So I'm going to get the music started, I'm going to get my timer started, and we are going to move through just a series of stretches that I like to do when I do make the time to stretch, and we'll go ahead and get started. So let me get the music going and the timer, and then we're going to begin in a tabletop position on our hands and knees. Okay, so coming into a tabletop position, that means that your hips are in line with your knees, shoulders in line with your wrists. We're going to start by arching our backs, looking up towards the ceiling, and then rounding our shoulders and back. You should be able to see your belly button, so tucking your chin to your chest. Inhale back up. Exhale down. And repeat that a few times at your own pace. So go ahead and move through that stretch at a pace that feels right for you, making sure that you are breathing through the stretches. Breath is super important here. Let's get a couple more. Good. Coming back to a neutral spine, go ahead and have a seat on your heels or on the floor. Reach your fingertips to the edge of your mat. If you can, bring your forehead down to the floor here. And just breathe. I'm going to be reminding you to breathe a lot. You're going to be hearing me breathe a lot. That's your reminder. Okay, from this position, go ahead and walk your hands to the right as far as you feel comfortable going until you feel a pull on the left side of your body, and then relax into the stretch. Good. Walk your hands to the left side till you feel a pull on the right side of your body and hold. Ready, slowly walk those hands back to center. Go ahead and bring your arms behind you this time. Give your shoulders a little bit of a break. When you're ready, slowly sit on up. Come down to your butt. Swing your legs out in front of you. Get comfortable here. We're going to come down to the floor on our backs. The next thing that we're going to focus on are our glutes. So we're going to create a figure 4 with our legs. I'm going to start by crossing my right ankle over my left knee. I'm keeping my feet flexed. So instead of pointing, I'm flexing. I'm going to reach on through, grab the back of my left leg and pull my legs in towards my chest. I even like to use this right arm to push out my right knee. so that this is nice and straight. And then I'm using my hands to pull my legs in closer to my body. And you should be feeling this back here in your hips. Relax into this stretch, breathe into it. Good, let's switch sides. So now I'm going to cross my left ankle over my right knee, reach on through and pull. You might notice that one side is tighter than the other. That's totally normal. Just do what you can. Good, we're gonna go ahead and release the stretch. Let's start by keeping the left leg straight, grabbing onto the right knee. When you're ready, bring that right knee across your body down to the floor. You can even extend your right arm out to the side. Good, roll back to center, switch sides. Bringing that left knee up, bringing it across the body down to the floor, looking over to your left. Good, let's slowly roll back to center. Bring both knees in. Wrap your arms around your knees, even grab your elbows if you can. Curl up into a tight little ball. Good, release those legs down to the floor. We're slowly going to sit up and reach for our toes. So when you're ready, sit on up. Bring those arms up overhead. Inhale up, exhale, forward fold. We're reaching for our toes here, but if you need to grab your ankles or your shins instead, that's totally fine. Try and relax your head and neck. And I'm flexing my feet here so I can get a deeper stretch on the backs of my legs. Good, sit on up. Now I'm gonna bend my right leg, and then I'm gonna use my left arm to leverage the outside of my right leg and do a torso rotation. So using my left arm against my right leg, I'm rotating and looking over my back right shoulder.
Now.
10 more seconds here. Good. We're going to switch sides. So bend that left knee, using your right arm to leverage your body into a torso rotation. Only rotate as far as you feel comfortable going. Release that stretch. The next thing we're going to do is separate our feet nice and wide. just as far as you feel comfortable going, keeping those feet flexed. So we're doing a lot of flexion in the feet, and that's to provide a deeper stretch on the backs of our legs. So I'm gonna start, because I always start to the right. I'm gonna reach for my right foot. I'm gonna bring my left arm up overhead, and I'm looking up towards the ceiling, almost towards my left elbow. So you should be feeling this on the back of your right leg, but also on your left side. And you might notice that the longer you're in these stretches, the deeper that you can go. Go ahead and do what feels right for you. You should feel a stretch. There should be some tension, but not pain. So don't overdo it. Good, switch sides. Sit on up from that stretch. We're gonna bring the soles of our feet together, pull your heels in nice and close, and then I like to hold on to the bottom of my toes and then pull my chest towards my feet. Easier said than done. It's okay if you don't actually bring your chest down to your feet, just do what you can. You can even use your elbows to push your knees or your legs down towards the floor. Okay, release this stretch. Come into a seated position that's comfortable for you while we're working on arms. The first thing I'm gonna do is stretch shoulders. So I'm gonna bring my right arm across my chest, pull on that arm, making sure you're drawing your shoulder away from your ears, and hold. Good, switch arms, same thing. Keep that shoulder away from your ears. Good, release that. Okay, next we've got triceps. So I'm gonna start with my right arm. I'm gonna bring my right arm behind my back. My palm is flat on my back, using my left hand to hold on to that right elbow. And then I'm gonna look up towards the ceiling in the direction of my right elbow. If this is too much for you, it's too much strain on your neck, go ahead and keep your face pointed forward. Good, let's switch sides. Good, release that stretch. So for this next one, I kind of like to come up onto my knees a little bit. If you need more cushion for your knees, make sure you grab that towel or the blanket. I'm gonna put my palms flat on the floor. Fingers are actually facing towards me, so it should feel kind of awkward. And then I'm just gonna slowly control this by leaning back and just going as far as I feel comfortable going. So my fingers are pointed towards me, and we're stretching our forearms and our wrists. And you probably do not need to bend very far before you start to feel tension. Just go as far as feels comfortable for you. Good, go ahead and release. Now I'm gonna put my wrists down on the floor, tops of my hands down on the floor. Same thing, leaning back until I feel a stretch in the tops of my wrists. And this is super subtle. I mean, I barely have to lean back at all and I feel tension, so don't overdo it. Good, release that stretch. While we're up on our knees, go ahead and bring your arms behind you, interlace those fingers, push your chest out. And then go ahead and drop your chin to your chest. And if you want, you can roll from side to side, or you can just hold this. Could you be any colder? Good, release that stretch. We're gonna work on hip flexors next. And so these are gonna be particularly tight for those of you who sit a lot or who sit for work. So it's really good to stretch these kind of all the time. So I'm gonna start by bringing my right leg out in front of me. Left leg is laying out on the floor. I'm gonna lunge forward into this right leg, making sure my knees don't come past my toes. So find a comfortable position here. And you've got a couple options. You can rotate towards that front leg and drop into that lunge. Or once you find your balance here, bring your arms up and lean back. Either option is fine. I find that this is a little nicer to my low back. If I arch backward, it's a little bit of pressure that I don't really like. So holding here and breathing. Really pushing those hips forward. If you want a deeper stretch, squeeze your glute. So flex your butt cheek. Good, we're gonna switch sides. Lunging forward with that left leg. Pushing your hips forward. You should feel a stretch here in the front. Find your balance and then rotate towards that front leg. Good, rotate back to center. Bring both knees down to the floor. We're gonna come back into that tabletop position where we started. So hands and knees. When you're ready, coming up onto your toes. And if you can, bring your heels down to the floor. It's okay if you can't. From here, we're gonna alternate bending our knees. So you should feel this stretch in the back of each leg. Good, bring both heels down as far as you feel comfortable bringing them. Walk those hands to your feet. And I usually like to spread my feet a little wider outside of my mat. From here, I'm gonna go ahead and grab onto my elbows and let everything hang. So really allow gravity to do the work here. In this position, I'm gonna slowly shake my head no. Just very gently nodding from side to side while still allowing gravity to make my head feel nice and heavy. Return back to center, slowly nod your head yes. Good, relax in the center. I'm gonna go a little bit wider with my feet. Holding on to those elbows, gently swaying from side to side. I've got a slight bend in my knees here that has a lot to do with my flexibility, but also I feel a little more stable in this position if I've got a little bit of a bend. Gently sway side to side. Good, relax in the center. When you're ready, we're slowly going to roll up to a standing position. The last thing to come up should be your head. Take your time. Alrighty. Once you're up, and really take your time with that, we're going to stretch quads. So you might want to hold on to something depending on how stable you're feeling. We're going to start by balancing on the left foot. So I'm going to grab my right foot, bringing my knees close together, pushing my hips forward, and I'm going to hold here for that 30 seconds. Good, release, switch sides. Keeping those knees close together, pushing your hips forward. Good, release that stretch. The next thing we're going to work on are traps. So those are your muscles back here, and these for me get particularly tight. This is where I carry all of my stress and tension. So I'm going to bring my right arm behind my back, and then using my left hand, I'm going to pull my head forward and sort of at an angle so that I feel a stretch on the back of my neck. And I'm going to hold here. Good, release that stretch, switch sides. Good, release that stretch. We're going to come back down to the floor. This is the last thing that we're doing. We're going to take a few deep breaths together, and then we're just going to lie down and take a minute or two to just breathe. Okay? So whatever feels comfortable for you, we're going to inhale our arms up. Exhale down. Let's get one more. Exhale down. Okay, from here we're going to come into a position that is comfortable for you. So whatever that is, it's different for everybody. I like to keep my feet flat on the floor to provide a little more support for my low back. And we're just going to lie here and enjoy some deep breaths and the music. So when you're ready, take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, shut your eyes. Take a nice deep breath in. Slowly roll to one side and hold there. Taking another deep breath in, using one hand to push yourself up off the floor. Slowly coming into a seated position. We'll finish with a couple more nice deep breaths. Let's get one more. Exhale down. And you are all finished with today's stretching routine. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that this was as relaxing and restorative for you as it is for me. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you in our next class. Take care.